everyone got to read Jennifer's book, or hopefully most of it, right?
Yeah,
I
I
read
just
all
finished
of it.
it.
Yeah. I read
Unfortunately,
all of it, and then I like got done with it 3 weeks ago.
I know. That's how
So
I
I
was like
quickly
going,
go
oh my
through.
gosh.
Like, oh my gosh, try to remember everything yesterday and today. But it's nice to have you and your book with us, Jennifer.
Well, thank you.
And
I
yes,
actually reread it myself the last week.
awesome.
So busy writing the second book,
Uh-huh.
felt like I would be kind of confused because
Yeah.
finishing the second book right now, the rough draft.
So that's a good question to know. So is it a series or are these standalones?
Yes, it's a series, a
Okay.
continuation of the story. I
Oh,
kind of left it hanging a little bit, so
yeah.
I'm
So
hoping to
the
make
okay, so
three books.
Nice.
awesome. So the same characters or some of the same will be in your this book you're writing?
The one I'm writing, Talitha, is the main character, and
Oh,
Antarza is
Okay.
awesome.
my
Good.
secondary character. Yes.
Awesome. That she was one of my favorites, which is probably a question I can ask people, but I was really glad. I'm glad you're going to write about Talitha then. That makes me happy.
Hmm.
Yes, I'm actually going to be getting a sensitivity read
Oh,
for
yeah.
this book to help
Okay.
me out. I had some help with it last time through Edwina Perkins,
Oh,
and I'm going to talk to her at the Florida Christian Writers Conference in
oh,
October.
that's good. That's really good that you're doing that. All right.
Yes,
It'll add some more depth too. You're going to get some more depth from a sensitivity reader. Yeah.
yes, and she's that age of that timing.
Oh,
Yes,
okay. Perfect. So she's going to remember her own tween teenness.
right.
Yeah. Awkward times. So, so going with that, so Reed was, he was like 13, right? 12, 13 at the beginning, and then he got just a little older in the story. So our so that part of his life is covered in Smoking Flax, but how old is he in the next book then? Is it still teen?
Well, in actually the beginning of Smoking Flax, I have a small part where he's 19.
Yes, at the beginning. Yes.
So, and at the very end, he's back to 19. And this is just going to be a month or so later, is where
Oh,
the
good.
second book picks up.
Okay.
Yes.
You're
Mhm.
satisfying my curiosity. That's why I'm asking you that.
Yes.
Yeah. I liked the story. So,
It's funny because when I was writing the second book, I
hmm.
started right into Reed's point of view, and I got nowhere. And I was doing reading a writing book. I don't remember which one, and it says make sure that you have the right first character, the main character. And I thought, oh, well, maybe I don't have the main character. And it was like, yeah, because Talitha's the main character.
Oh, in your
Yes.
book too. Okay.
So I had to switch all over, and I hadn't written very far into the second book, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be complicated. We're talking with Jennifer, those that just joined us, Tara, Susan, and Eva. Anyway, some of you or got your screen on. I was asking her about her second book because she's continuing Smoking Flax. She's continuing the characters. And she said it started a month after this one ends. So that's interesting. She said Talitha is the main character in her book too. So those of you that got to read the whole thing, I was happy about that because I liked Talitha a lot. Um, which, since we're talking about characters, who was your favorite character? Was it Reed? Was it a side character?
I like the Lula.
Yes.
I like because I love the color orange. So the fact that she wore orange and she wrote in orange ink, and I like eccentric type people. So
Yeah.
There you
You've
go.
had a lot of fun
There's
to write. Hmm.
Yeah.
there are
Yeah.
so
I
many
won't say he was my
pieces to
favorite
this.
character, but I was fascinated with Chuck. I had that figured out pretty early, I think, in the story, but it was still fun.
Oh.
Fun.
You figured that out? Okay, I
Seriously,
didn't.
I figured it out. You know when I think I figured it out is there was one point where he saw him and there was a flash of light or something around him.
Uh-huh.
Am I right on that, Jennifer?
Yes.
There was some kind, and that's when I thought, you know what? I wonder if this is really real here.
Ah, you're smart.
Exactly what's happening. So, yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
figure it out at all.
me neither.
Well, let me tell you how it came about.
Yeah.
I actually started writing this as kind of a dark story. It just I had went with a writers group I'm in locally, and we decided to, we were doing writing prompts, and I had 3 prompts, and I wrote this little short story about this little boy at the riverbank throwing rocks at shrimp and crocodile and alligators at the riverbank. And it turned into kind of a dark story, but at some point I just felt like I didn't want it to have a bad ending. It was just like, I don't know. And I was really studying into the speculative because it's some of my favorite stuff, this time travel and stuff. And I actually dreamed the ending. I dreamed the whole shift, and just kind of, subconsciously daydreaming, kind of whatever dreaming. And I just wrote it down, and then I had to work it out, which was a lot of fun to try to.
Yeah.
And at times I still wonder, but I'm glad to hear that some of y'all got it and stuff. If I made it clear enough,
I got it because of the oops.
Well, and everybody has a backstory, no matter how
Mm-hmm.
awful they are, they appear on the surface. They have a backstory.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really enjoyed redeeming Chuck, and people are like, "Oh, are you going to redeem Jack?" I said, "Probably not."
No. Yeah, that would be hard. To redeem Jack. So who liked Jack? Anybody?
No.
I know. That was tough. I know. Almost everybody but Jack. It was kind of hard to like Jack. Although you could probably, with your skill level, you probably could make a really good story about Jack. Some point.
Yeah. Book 3, you're going to, well, we're going to see a little more of Jack in book 2, but
okay.
Book 3, definitely we're going to get a little deeper into his psyche.
Ooh, so there you go.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you can't spoil anything with us, huh?
Yeah.
But that's a good hint. Okay, so
That's little hints. So
that's going to be a big challenge for you, right? Unless you like writing that way. You like to write the redemptive arc for somebody.
yeah, I really do. I enjoyed Reed. I really enjoyed, taking him from a very hurt, abused child, and to see him working through his issues and stuff.
Yeah.
And I liked the way that Lulu was more of a counselor than just giving him the answers. That she kept just asking more questions. Of course, irritated him, but and that continues in book 2. So,
and that what was fun, like Tammy said, she liked her. What was fun about her is she would say these things, but then she'd show up again to kind of check on them, and so, and it would pique this curiosity enough to keep thinking about what she said, and I liked that element in there. So she didn't lecture him, like you said. She didn't try to tell him everything to do, but she kept giving him little clues to help him pay attention, I think. And then to make him think about things like, what's really going on? Why is she weird? Yeah, I liked all his inner thought process that you wrote.
I was going to say, Reed was probably, well, and I'm at the tail end. I haven't been able to finish the book yet, but Reed is I don't want to say innocentness, the realistness of his thoughts and feelings. I don't know, I could relate to that, of just things when I was a kid growing up, and the way you would see things and not understand, and the way you interpreted about how you felt and how other people made you feel. And then you do something and beat yourself up because you did it wrong, but really is part of learning, and the things we didn't understand and all of that. You did a fabulous job with the way you wrote him, or you wrote the whole story. It just, You just felt like you were really there in the midst of all of that, especially because I grew up in that era. And wow, like the different, but you did it subtly. You did it so, like, you just would bring in something that was like the Flintstones coloring book. It was one of my favorite coloring books as a kid. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just something as simple as that one line and how I was right there in that time period and stuff like that.
I thought your world building was phenomenal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
I agree with you, Denise, all that you said. The way she went into Reed was real for that age group. Like you could just see it. It didn't not fit him where he was in his life. His, how old he was. He's still young. But
I wonder if this is what kids today feel or if it's different, because the freedom that we had to go out and about and just it was different, right? And so the fact that your parents weren't watching you as much, you could get yourself into trouble or people could bully you without you knowing it. Those things still happen today. I'm not saying that they don't, but it's just like, or is this timeless? And it's just the setting. And would kids relate to that today about how they're feeling and stuff like that? I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it is kind of timeless. I have 4 teenage grandchildren, and I talked a lot to them about the book and the story, especially my oldest granddaughter. And I would read things to her and just get her opinion and stuff. And
that's good.
so,
I like
of course, like you said, it was definitely a more freeing time back then.
Yeah.
I did things I would never want my grandchildren to do. Just out in the woods and out and just wide open on bicycles and the whole thing,
Yeah, I really liked the river because we grew up with a year-round creek in front of our house and it moved fast. And my mom was constantly telling me to stay away from it, and I never did.
Yeah.
And but I learned to just put my feet in, but because it was really moving downhill and quick. But we had so many rivers around us and ponds, and when I was reading about Reed and he was drawn to the water. That's how I was. And I started thinking my mom doesn't know the half of it. Like I'm still here, but oh my gosh, I hope my grandkids never do that stuff.
I bet you we all have stories like that. There were things I told my mom very late in her life, and she was like, how did I not know that all these years?
Yeah. So Jennifer,
I feel like as parents, we know everything now.
I know.
Maybe not everything, but yeah.
They can't pull everything. So is this since I don't know a whole lot about you yet, Jennifer, is this the age group that you mainly focus on? The middle?
Well, when I wrote my first book, I wrote Jessie's Hope, which she was 20 years old in that story.
Okay.
But it was kind of really the main character in a way was the grandfather, the 65-year-old grandfather.
Okay.
That's how the story evolved. I actually wrote it from the grandfather's point of view, and I had a critique group. They're like, oh, I don't think that's going to make it. I think Jessie should be the main character. So I rewrote it, and Eva Marie was looking at it at this time, Everson.
Oh, okay.
And she sent it to a beta reader, and they said, you don't have the right main character. We don't like Jessie at all in this. So I went back in that book and rewrote it from the grandfather and her perspective, and did some switching up, and that's when I sold it to her and to Lighthouse. And
Okay.
so it came out. So I always write Southern fiction. This story, came out to be young adult because of Reed's age. The next story, they're going to be, in their late teens, early 20s. It's actually the next book covers a 2-year period.
Okay.
So
one you're writing right now. Yeah.
Yes. So it'll be. So I don't know. It's kind of hard. I just know everything I write is Southern. It has a lot of twist in it. It's Jessie's Hope wasn't speculative, but I really like speculative. We'll see. I could write another regular Southern fiction, but I figure I'm going to write one or the other.
Yeah.
I really like time travel. So excited to read something that had time travel in it.
Well,
Yeah.
after I wrote it, it was saying like think of comparative movies and stuff. And I started going back through it and I thought, oh wait, there's some little splashes of Back to the Future
Oh yeah.
because
Love
of
that.
Marty and his dad. It's different, but it's a little because that was something I was so popular and I liked it so much. And then Disney's The Kid, people haven't seen that as much, was Bruce Willis.
That's right.
It has it has that vibe in it of someone dealing with their childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I did think of that. I
if you
did
get a
think
chance to watch that movie, I'd highly recommend it. It's a great
yeah.
film.
I forgot about that movie. Actually, that is good.
Yeah, I should watch
So, so some of you here that haven't had a chance to talk, have you read time slips or travel books? And if so, what authors remind you of Jennifer? Like if that's a popular genre that you've read, or if you've read any at all. Sometimes we authors like to know who we can compare ourselves to, the style or the genre. Oh, Denise is talking, but there's no
I
mic.
muted myself.
There you go.
It's not, sorry, there's a lot of dynamics going on. So I'm like trying to, I have not read some, but well, I have read some, but I didn't purposely pick them up to read them. They might have been a favorite author in the romance genre that wrote one, then became that. But, like where someone walked into an elevator and when the doors opened, they were in a different time period, type of thing. But other than that, I haven't really, I didn't know what to expect and I didn't know how to interpret some of this. So like I said, I'm not completely done yet. So I'm excited to finish it. And, yeah. But
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it. So you're saying that your second book is from her perspective, but the story's moving forward from this time period, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, because he said he's going to go back and ask her, to whatever. So it's probably from that point on and what happens there.
That's where we're at.
Does she remember anything she doesn't remember anything from the past?
No. Right now I've got it written in where maybe she's having some little glimpses at times and she can't figure out why. She's like, well, that never happened, So I think I'm just playing with that right now. See how I develop it in the third book.
And you're speaking about Talitha because she's the main character in book 2. For anybody,
how about Mama Corbell? Did anybody like Mama Corbell?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was the wise woman that could bring some peace to read, which I think was great. But Poppy too, in the same sense.
Oh, yeah.
True.
When I wrote Mama Corbell, I remember I started writing the scene where she comes in and I had this older lady kind of bent over and stuff. And all of a sudden it was like, no, that's not who she is. And what came to mind was the TV show The Jeffersons and the maid, Florence. I think, was it Florence?
Don't
Anyway,
remember her name,
the maid, she was sassy and always talked back to everybody and kind of, anyway, that's who came to mind. It was a younger grandmother that was forceful and, so that was a lot of fun because I'm definitely a discovery writer. So things change all the time for me when I'm writing. I have little real vague outlines and then I just kind of go from there.
You don't try to control it. You kind of let it go where it wants to go. Yeah, we all write differently like that. Anybody else like that? Kind of like just let it flow. Yeah. And nodding.
I like the term discovery writer. I like that.
Too.
Yeah. I'm always discovering something new. My favorite writer, I don't know if any of you have read his books, is James L. Rubart.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've heard his
Rooms, right?
Now he has a lot of some of his book have some time travel, and I think I have some influence from there. And Sean Smucker, who is a little lesser known, but he's won some Carol Awards and stuff. Anyway, those are two authors I really like that I feel have influenced me somewhat. more
That's
because
good.
it's like you said, subtle. It's not like big
Yeah.
fantasy worlds with dragons and things. It's more of
Mm.
a, yeah, this could really be real. Well, except, when somebody
Like
slips and, like you said, opens the elevator and comes out in a different world.
Yeah.
magical realism.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
that
good way.
you have that reality, but there's
My
that small
third one
piece
is
that can't
kind of
happen. Those are my favorite.
crosses time periods too, but it's more like looking back at what happened and then what's in the present. It didn't do so much of that jumping. So I don't know if I could write that. That's really challenging to do what you did.
It was unbelievably challenging. It helped being, at that time, I was in a critique group with Eva Marie Everson with Word Weavers. And she was just helpful as far as, I don't get this. And then my editor with Elk Lake, who I published Smoking Flax through, she was helpful too, of just telling me when, okay, this isn't clear enough. I need it clearer for me. So just a lot of different readers and things and local groups where I, bring up 2 or 3 pages and say, hey, look at this. I don't know what I think about it. And
That's the best feedback, actually. I like the clear, unclear type. Tell me what's clear, tell me what's not. Don't you think it feels so much better to have someone say, no, that's not clear? Because sometimes you think it's clear, right? And then
it's in my head, but is it
You
on
have all
paper?
the backstory in your head.
It's got to come out clear without all that other knowledge in your head. Yeah, that's excellent.
This story, one thing that was interesting in it, as before I sold it, I sent it to Steve Lobby, and he always says he'll read anything if you send a typewritten manuscript to him. He'll read it.
I sent to him too. It's weird sending this like tome to him, and he actually helped a lot with the. He
was like,
yeah, he was good.
He had some interest in representing, and he really liked it. But he said, "But I want you to take all the speculative out." So
wanted to write.
I thought a lot about it. I actually sat down and tried to go back at the beginning when I didn't have speculative in it, and I couldn't. I was just like totally frozen, and I understood where he was coming from. He sent me a very nice letter, and and compared it to some other Southern writers that he liked. And I thought, well, maybe in the future, but right now, this is how this story is.
It's really
much as I would love to get in with them,
So who did he compare you to? Do you remember? Because it's really nice to hear that.
It was a book called The Shell Seekers or something.
Oh, Pilcher. Rose.
Oh, okay.
Rosamund Pilcher.
Yeah,
I know Pilcher's the last name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, it's nice to be compared to somebody like that.
I'm telling you, the best review I've ever gotten, which I think all of y'all that have left me reviews, but the best one was someone said it had a little bit of a flavor of To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, nice.
And to me, you just couldn't say anything better to a Southern writer.
I definitely felt that. I don't know if I wrote that in my thing, but
to me, I mean, I'm just nowhere there, But it was so nice to hear that someone actually had that thought when they were reading it, because it's one of my favorite books. Love Scout. I love teenage protagonist. I really do.
Yeah, you did really well with that. I know.
And I might go back. I actually have a medieval fantasy that I first wrote back when I was starting on the shelf. And who knows? I've had some friends say, you need to pull that out and bring it up to speed. And I said, well, you never know.
Yeah, in my spare time. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah, I have so much spare time.
Yeah, I know. So when you were writing your story, which scene was your favorite? Did you have anything that you just were like, oh, I really like how that turned out? Because I'm going to ask the readers if there was any, but you as a writer, we have our favorite things when we end up writing. Sometimes we're like, where'd that come from? And we're really happy with it, right? And how it just flowed and we didn't have to force it. Too much?
There's about 3 scenes I just probably really loved.
Oh, which ones?
I love where Jack comes up after Reed's dad died.
Oh, to the house?
Yes. I loved that scene with the mother with the blanket on her lap. I love that scene. I was trying to think. There was one with Reed. The one where he runs away. The scene where he breaks the dishes. And he's like, okay, that's got to be it. That scene was there's some that are just very emotional for me. Because I am that character when I'm writing it. You know how that is. And I got very emotional in a couple of those. I like how he met Talitha.
When he went to Alabama, like the second meeting?
Oh no, the first one where he met her in the blackberry patch.
Okay.
And he was telling her to, you're picking my blackberries, and she's like, who are you to say, whose blackberries they are?
Yeah.
She just turned out into this really fun, sassy character.
Yeah. Yeah, she is fun. That's probably why it's fun writing her book, because of the type of character she is. Yeah, that's fine. So what about you, everyone? Who had a favorite scene that you can think of? Annette, did you have something? Sorry.
I liked how natural and funny it was when Talitha smacks him for looking at Selena. It just felt so real.
It's funny.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. For me, my favorite part, I don't know if it really counts as a scene, but it was when we found out that Chuck was who Chuck was and him being redeemed. Like the influence that Reed had on Chuck and how that changed his life. That was my absolute favorite part because I didn't see that coming. It was all very clear, but I didn't see it coming, which is probably what you wanted.
Yeah.
So,
His encouraging words to Chuck as a kid was done well. Even though he was struggling internally, he wanted to be something different. He wanted life to be different enough that he, and the power of an encouragement and of being a friend and all of that, I think was great.
Yeah.
I liked the way they boycotted I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, just what Denise was saying, just that it changed his whole relationship with his grandfather by giving him the carving, so yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Susan.
I like the boycott when they boycotted the store. That was good.
I did too.
I enjoyed that, and it's funny because I do my timeline after I write, and I thought, oh wow, this is coming right at the 4th of July. This is, I have a little bit in my mind, but I thought this is going to be perfect, and then 4th of July, and then boycotting during that time.
That's perfect timing on that.
I liked when he was teaching Chuck how to carve the egg, and he was carving, I liked that whole thing with him and Chuck, and I realized it was Chuck because I was reading and then I realized, oh yeah, the dad's name was Charles. So that's when I kind of put that together, but or Charlie. Was it Charlie? Sorry.
Well, and it kind of goes both. Different people call him and how people do in real life.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really like the part where he looks where he's in the bed after he's been half strangled, and he looks up and sees the name tag on his father's shirt.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I loved writing that part, even though I had to keep going over and over and over to make sure it was coming out right and what would really happen,
Yeah, that was good. So that leads me into, I was thinking of the plot twist because you had a few in there to me. Particularly effective. Were there any particularly effective plot twists? I think Karen referred to one. But you know how she would change things. I kept expecting Jack to show up. I was like freaking out every time. Like you're really drawing that out. Like get out of there. Like I kept on thinking, I wanted to flip and go, so did he ever get them? I really liked that he did not. Like you kept just taking us to the edge and we were afraid along with Reed and then nothing happened. Because we can be that way also. We can be afraid of things that just never happen, but still the fear is real. So the twist for me was I expected Jack to just keep dogging their steps. And I was waiting for that. And you were really good about keeping him out of there for quite a while. So
Yeah, but Reed, he worried for his friend, and it's just the timing of that, the choices and just all of those things, and the story needed to unfold the way it unfolded. It was done well.
Yes, I like that too.
Well, don't worry, you'll get to see more of Jack in the second book.
Yes, we want that. I mean, not really, but we do.
I mean,
if that's not the end of his story, then okay,
you
we
have
want
to have that villain you love to hate, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's like the thought I've had this last week is, it was actually came from a sermon and from a song we had done at church, and it was that whole thing that there is good and evil. That if you're going to portray where I just can't have the good part of, people helping him and everything. There has to be the bully, the prejudiced, the Jack, that character. It has to be you have to have both to really make a well-rounded story if you're going to be real life. Some people like you and some people don't. And
that's right. Sometimes you deserve it. Sometimes you don't.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The contrast with all the different personalities. We can't write a book where everybody's nice. You could.
Oh, my first one probably was.
Was it? Yeah.
My first little book, I thought, wow, all these characters are such nice, sweet people. What am I doing?
I know, because you really like nice, sweet people. They make you.
I remember when I first started writing how bland my characters were, and I'm like, oh, we have to figure out how to not see the good in everybody and show something a little bit more.
Yeah, a little more angst in there. I know. So did anyone start out not caring for a character, but then you saw they weren't so bad? Or was it really evident to you right away who was who, what they were like, how they would behave? Or did anyone surprise you?
Well, Charlie turned out to be okay eventually.
There you go. That's one. Yeah, that's true.
I still don't like Jack.
You're like, ah.
Lulu
I don't
is
think any of
kinda
us like
scary.
Jack.
What was that, Tammy?
Oh, Lulu. I mean, she was my favorite, but she started out scary because I thought she was into voodoo and stuff.
That's
I thought,
true.
oh, this is, wasn't sure about her.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
my editor, I had to work with that because they're like, no, you have to make sure that you have in there that she's definitely against that.
Definitely a what?
That she's definitely against voodoo.
Right.
That you have to make that very clear. In the when I was going through it the first time with working with them, it wasn't clear enough. So I brought the scene in where he says something about it, and she's like, "No, we don't do that.
It's evil." Yeah,
That's right. Yeah,
that was good.
And not that I didn't, that I thought it was okay, but they wanted it to be very clear,
right.
Especially since it was a young adult audience.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and she was superstitious, right? So she's going along and that cult. There were a lot of people in the culture, I'm sure, that could be voodoo or just superstitious. So that was good that you made that clear. Just that one little sentence she said. I just read that again yesterday. I was like, just saying, oh no, that's evil. She didn't have to go into a big dissertation over it, but she clarified that that's not what she believed.
It was clear.
Yeah. So you did good with that. Sometimes just a word or two, you guys, and it makes it more clear to the reader, right?
Erin, you know how powerful superstition is. It's all through your books.
I know. I was totally fine with Jennifer's book. So I was like, oh yeah, people do that. They do think that way. And sometimes people start out superstitious and then they eventually kind of replace it with faith in, Jesus, or they start to they tone down their superstition sometimes too. You didn't have to do that with your book. That's not what I'm saying, but
Right.
just the fact that there are a lot of superstitions out there. So
Yeah.
you did well with that. I thought, Jennifer, thought you handled it well.
I also liked the part where he's going to talk to Amberly and he's flipping the coin.
Oh yeah.
Yes, where that was fun to write and make up a little chant and everything for him to make it seem like voodoo to scare her.
Yeah.
I thought it was so much of what a teenage boy would do. So,
She had it coming.
I know. We're like, is she going to be in book 2?
No.
Okay.
No, she's
left
funny
there.
because when I'm writing, it's funny the characters that I have my main characters, but some of them have faded out more. You don't see them as much, and then some of them you've seen more. So it's kind of been a back and forth of just everyone growing and changing, and and his whole family working with book 2. So it's been fun to write the first one.
Yeah.
And to see positive feedback and stuff that I've gotten. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'd like to know what people thought of Reed's mom. Did anybody have an opinion about how she did things, her decisions, choices that she made, how she communicated? Like, is there anything about her as his mother? Because mothers are huge.
It's interesting. When he found out the truth about before things changed, it broke my heart that he saw it as her fault. It was kind of, that happened and such. But somebody told him back that he should be fortunate that she decided to still love him and to still keep him. And, her love, her constant, gentle voice, all of that was pretty constant through that, I don't know, just kind of, sorry, that wasn't very much flowing in my words right now, but
it was a very emotional scene, where, as it would be.
Absolutely.
I agree that with you, Denise. She was very stable and consistent with who she was. Even if there were issues, she didn't vary very much. She stayed herself, and she was a stability for him, even though she seemed timid, right? Or kind of meek. That really wasn't it. It was how she was dealing with things. So I agree with you.
The emotions, part of it was the time period, all the things that my family went through and facing a lot of alcoholism and different things in my family, that my mother was the strong one, even though we as kids didn't necessarily recognize that. Mm-hmm. She kept the stability.
Yeah.
I think that as mothers, you respond a certain way to protect your children. Yes. If that makes sense. I don't know.
Like when he asked her, why didn't you leave earlier?
Right.
And she's like, well, by the time I got brave enough, it was too late.
Things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good. I enjoyed how you wrote her. Because I could identify with her too, because I was my first marriage was pretty bad. And I did a lot of things to protect my kids. So the fact that you wrote that in there, that resonates with anyone who's had to go through that, where I'm not saying the same stuff she did, but just the way you defend and protect. It's not always, run away all the time or leave your kids with someone. It's not all that. You have to make a certain choice that will fit your life. Right. So she was very, to me, patient, and she planned and she did things methodically when she could have been in a total panic, but she didn't lose her head. She just, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and she had it all. It's almost like you didn't write that, I don't think, but she almost had a bug out story, plan, like, when I gotta go, this is what we're doing, because everything was organized.
Yeah.
So is that how you perceived her when you were writing her?
It was.
Okay.
I felt like when she told me, I couldn't leave, but she always wanted to.
Yeah.
And it was just like waiting for that right moment to where she could get the kids out safely, especially Susan.
Yeah.
She was a fun character. It's just fun how the whole book worked out. Susan brought a little lightheartedness into a story full of heavy topics. It's not how I started to write the whole book. It just turned that way. But, it was very much Alabama in the late 70s. I mean, George Wallace had repented, but there was still so much stirred up amongst so many different people. And then you bring in the abuse on the side, and, Crazy Jack, and
Yeah. You handled all of that really well, I thought. The setting. So did you, how do I say that? So your plot was a certain plot, but was the setting really what influenced a lot of the story, or which came first? Because I really felt like I was right there, right? Yeah. Did you think that too? I just felt like, oh, this is the South. I even can picture it right now. Some of the things I see, since moving to the South. It put me like in that parking lot, in that, like, it was so descriptive, but the setting to me had a lot of weight with what your plot was. So I wondered how you matched the two.
Well, I started with the writing prompts, and they were like New Orleans and shrimp, and when I wrote the little short story, and a river,
Yeah. So
it's funny. I pitched it to one editor who they didn't buy it, but she gave me some really good advice. I had it on the Mississippi River, and she said, this will never work because the Mississippi has deltas and all these different things, and it's too big for what you have here. So I went to really studying, and I found a meat river.
Yeah.
That is like, so many miles to the east. And I was able to switch up and move there. And the Alabama was just, it's like it has all kind of bits and pieces of like the town. The one with the bus station kind of reminds me of the downtown where I went to school at. My grandfather was a bus driver for Continental Trailways for years and years and years. So the whole bus thing, the station, and then I did a lot of research, as I have all my little thoughts going, and my little imaginary towns are all kind of based loosely on different places.
They felt real to me. Yeah. I liked that. I liked the river, and I'm like the gators, because I didn't grow up with those around. I'm like, I would never been able to get my feet in the water when I'm reading that. And then I'm like, oh, maybe they do. They just watched warning signs or something. Like, we didn't have anything.
We actually have alligators in Northwest Alabama now around. They've released some of them years back, and I'm like, why? And then about probably a month ago, one of our neighbors called us. We were in town, and they said there is a bear in the yard. And we've never had a bear here.
Wow.
And it was like all on Facebook. Everybody was showing where the bear, it started in Mississippi, and it went all the way across Alabama.
Wow.
That does seem
east. And
those bears have been showing up a lot of
alligators. Yeah.
I know there's a lot of building going on around here, hundreds of acres at a time, and everything's showing up. Everything's running. They don't know where to go. All the little creatures. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I've not heard of a bear in Alabama.
Yes.
I guess that is.
Oh, we
Hey,
got a
you
lot
can
of
put one in your
pictures.
next book. Yeah.
Well, wherever what was it, the Mississippi River Readers Retreat or Writers something this weekend. There were
Oh,
pictures
yeah.
all over Instagram of a bunch of the authors that were at that, and they had a bear on their porch.
I saw that. Well, I expect that in the Smokies, but not here.
I know. That's
Yep.
But
so.
yeah, so in 78, I wouldn't have had him with the bear because that would have been unheard of.
Yeah,
Or
it would.
alligators, either one in Alabama. So
Yeah. Oh, okay. So see, that's where research and life experience comes from. If you've grown up there, you know. But if you're writing about places you've not been to or lived in, it's really hard to just imagine that. So I can, with you talking about the bus driver, your grandpa being a bus driver, because that bus ride felt really real too. Like I was picturing myself on the Greyhound because I've gone with my mom in California. But it's just, I don't know. You just were able to really communicate that. So you said you were talking about your grandpa and the bus and the towns you've been to and how you incorporate a lot of that, and you could just mentally see it and you can write it. What about the specific events? Any events in the book? Are they from your own life too, besides just the setting?
it's funny. I had one beta reader, and she's like, "Were you abused as a child?" And I was like, "No, my parents were really good people. They really, they were very quiet, reserved people. They were just the opposite of, what Reed. But I've had different experiences, with bullies
Yeah.
and adults that were acted one way and were another way, and family members, and
Yeah.
that you can just draw off of, and
Yeah.
kind of put that emotion,
Yes.
pull the emotion into. I just remember, being at times as a teenager so confused and not understanding. My dad he had something like muscular dystrophy. So he was in a wheelchair, and I remember being a little different than the kids, going out with their dad and different things, and feeling misunderstood. And I think maybe some of that probably came out in it, of not getting to do what normal people did, their dads. And so I was able to put that into Reed, and maybe that's why I went ahead and had the positive ending. I just, I thought I couldn't have it redeemed with me, but I could let Reed be redeemed, as far as with his dad, as far as, physically being able to do stuff and having like I said, our subconsciouses work in odd ways, and it tends to come out in the story.
That's true. I know that's true. I know. Did you have any obstacles about writing this specific, smoking flax, or challenges? Like, was there things happening at the time you just had to barrel through, or?
Well, I was really struggling with the story, and then COVID hit.
Oh, I know.
And yes, and I was having a lot of trouble during COVID too, because I tend to be kind of a really melancholy, my struggles would be more with fearfulness and worry and stuff. So I had to really fight through all that. And I decided, I had heard that different authors were doing some coaching. And I found out that James Elroy Bart was doing some coaching during that time. And I signed up for about 8 months. And we'd talk monthly, and he just filled out a big questionnaire and different things. And he kind of, he didn't give me any advice toward the writing of the book, but it was more about digging into who I was and what I wanted to put on paper. And really getting past the, when you start writing, you tend to be shallower, or I did. You go deep into your emotions or anything. It's just kind of, like I said, everybody was nice in my first little book I wrote.
Yeah.
So,
everybody was good.
And then it's
Nobody
like,
misbehaved.
right, but nobody wants to read that.
Yeah.
Because we want to see people overcome things so that we can believe we can overcome things.
Yes.
Well, and if there's no conflict, it doesn't seem real to life.
Yes.
No.
Life is full of conflict, no matter what.
Yeah. And Jennifer had a lot. You had a lot in your book. And so it felt like so much of it just felt like living it. You were living it. Or it took you back to your own age where Reed is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Denise was saying, just you had so many questions and some things were so confusing and nothing worked out. And then you felt like you could now. So then you're like, okay, whatever. Like you don't know how to figure it out or ask how to help. Mom, tell me how this works. We just didn't sometimes at that. So the way you wrote that book was very authentic feeling.
And my mother had to have a lot of care at times. So a lot of times I did feel alone, growing up. Because I was the oldest, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
So it was like I had to be there and make sure everything was going good and working. And so I really did relate to the character of Reed. The Leaf is a little different. I've kind of patterned her a little more after my daughter because she is that sassy, spunky, won't take anything off anybody person.
Yeah. Oh, that's where you got her. Okay.
Yes.
Had to be somebody.
Mm-hmm. So little bits there.
So we have 3 minutes left, and I know we want to introduce the next book eventually, but does anyone have a question for Jennifer that I didn't cover that you've been wanting to know something?
I'm curious about the box marked secret. Like, I don't know if I missed it, but who's writing the sci-fi story? Or I'm like, okay, I feel like I should know this.
Well, it was in all my researching, after I got the Back to the Future vibes, it was originally called the Spaceman from Pluto.
Oh, okay.
Yes, before they're like, no, that title's terrible. We have to get a new title. And I just thought it would be fun. I love to put things all in my stories that most people won't even get, but a few people might. And so I put that in there just to see if anybody would catch the Back to the Future connection.
Okay.
That did help. Mm-hmm.
I like
it.
Yeah.
It's a good clue. I like to find things like that.
And the thing Good People was just a joke because my husband, he is where I am suspicious of everyone, he trusts everyone. and we're like, it's like, they're good. He's like, but they're good people. And I'm saying, yeah, he's an axe murderer. But you're saying it's good people.
What's good about him? Yeah.
He was so trusting of everybody, and he still is.
Aww.
And I'd be like, no, I don't think we ought to trust them. And, so I had to use that phrase, good people, a couple times. So that my friends, when they read it, would see that and they would laugh because they would know.
They would know.
Oh, that's good.
So I have fun doing that in my books too, little bitty things.
I like that. Well, we have like a minute left. So Joy's not here tonight, but Joy's going to moderate Karen's book, host Karen's book next month on the 18th. So Karen, do you want to pipe in and just tell us what your book name is?
Sure. Very different from this month. But so my book is Moonlight and Mystery, and it's much more like it's a contemporary romance. It's about a young woman who her parents very much control her life. She's wealthy and she's part of this society that she's expected to do the things that her parents want her to do. And it's her breaking out of that little by little throughout the story. With things just as simple as eating peanut butter. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a peanut butter lover.
I am too.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, that's going to change direction of where we're going. That's why we're doing all these different books. So we all get to have a different genre and get some flavor
It's
different.
quite the variety that we have between all of
yeah.
us, and it's been really enjoyable to read the variety. They wouldn't be, because I stay usually in the genre I'm writing, and so I've really enjoyed everyone's stories so far. So I'm excited for the next set.
I agree with you, Denise. I had a lot of fun with Jennifer, your book, because I've only read one other Southern fiction. I'm starting to really like it. And I hadn't read a time slip at all. So I was like, this is totally not anything I would even know to pick up. So thank you for sharing your book with us, Jennifer, and all your thoughts. And we'll get to hear all about Karen's next month.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I'm going to wait a little longer to start reading it, though, a little later.
Yeah, I just finished Jennifer's Tuesday. So
Yeah.
That was a good thing.
I'm hoping to finish it tonight. I didn't get that. I was trying, and I'm like, okay, I just have a few chapters left, but
I don't think we wrecked it for you. I think we were pretty careful with spoilers.
yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
So
Try not to.
I'm enough far along. I got to, okay,
Yeah.
this is good. I just want to know the last pieces, but
Yeah.
I'm on deadline, so I don't have a ton of free time. It's just hard to, So
Exactly.
my reading's kind of tanked this year.
No. Oh, I see, Tara, you're there without your microphone not muted. Did you want to ask Jennifer anything, or just say hi? Or...
No, I think I'm good. I was just actually thinking about the book for next month, and is there like a paperback available for that? Because I don't really have a Kindle, so.
The only version of it is as a large print that's hardcover, which is like $40, which is ridiculous. So
Okay. Yeah, I did see that, and I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know how they decided on that, but so no, the 99-cent ebook sale that we had last week was really the way to go. But if you don't have a Kindle, you can always read on your laptop or on your phone with the Kindle app. It doesn't have to be on an actual Kindle. I don't read on an actual Kindle ever.
Yeah, I don't
I
either.
read on my phone.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions before we say goodbye? Anybody? No? All right. Wow.
Well, thank you for all the kind
Nice
words.
to see everyone. Yeah, nice to see everyone again. And nice job, Jennifer. Very great book to read.
Awesome.
Yes, very much. I'll go post my reviews.
Thank you. I really appreciate the reviews. Yes.
Leave reviews. Everybody leave
wonderful.
reviews.
Yay for those. Okay.
Susan's review almost made me cry when I read hers. I thought, that's so nice.
I'm behind on that too, but I will get to those.
Great.
So, awesome.
All right. Good night,
We'll see you
everybody.
next month, everyone.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
Bye.
Bye.